I did that. I did that last week, so I thought I'd do it again. Yo, yo, yo! Hello, creative world, creative people, and if there's any Candler Creative community members out there watching our live stream, hello, and for anyone listening on Spotify and Amazon, hello to you too. So this is Candler Creative Chats. I'm Dan Candler, and these chats are about the creative world and the creative individuals that live within that world. So today is about one of our podcast flames, Chris Barton, and I'm just going to introduce the rest of our podcast flames. So let's bring them in. Boo! Oh yeah, hello everyone. So let's go around the room. Just give us your name, guys, and give us a little wave.
I'll go first. My name's Kelvin Hewlett, since I'm at the top of the screen. I'm an actor, now full-time streamer, and I work in catering. Don't forget it. You're going to love me.
Wait, we love you already. No. Hello everyone, I am Baltasar Oliva. I am an actor, martial artist, singer-songwriter, and so many other things. I'm happy to be here again, second Sunday in a row, and guessing this is gonna be a lot of Sundays. And yeah, I'm just gonna move away and leave my space to the star of the evening.
Boom! Hello, Chris Barton. I guess don't do your intro yet, because we got the whole episode is your intro. So it's just me on the thing. So hello, Chris. Chris, the title of the podcast is "Who Are You?" So what I'd like to do is literally just kind of start wherever you feel is necessary to start. Like, this episode is about you, and I want people to find out who our core podcast flame is. Yeah, I feel like I just want you to kind of take it away. The floor is yours. Chris, who are you? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's great. Is everyone else hearing Chris?
I cannot
No.
hear Chris.
Chris, you became mute.
Well, fantastic. Well, that was a great segment. So that was episode 2 of.
We might be experiencing technical difficulties. I do apologize for the service that is.
But that's all good. The server, goddamn the server. Well, that's it. Well, how are you guys anyway?
You guys hear me?
Oh, no, now we can.
We got Chris back.
Come on, Chris, come on. You can do it.
Am I here?
Yay! Let's start that again.
Yay! Okay, that was incredibly awkward.
It's all good.
Anyway,
it's all good. That's what we're here for. That's what the lives are about, and that's why we're growing. But Chris, let's start again. So tell us who you are, Chris. Where are you from? What are you about? What's your dreams? What's your hopes? All of that shizzle.
Oh, righty. That was a lot of questions in the first bit, but I'll try to do my best. Yes, hello everyone. I'm Christopher Barton. Chris Barton, short if you'd like to call me that. Yeah. So my intro I gave last time, I was originally a musical theater actor, but I do all kinds of acting now. Singer, do a little bit of songwriting every now and then as well. Yeah, a little bit of this and that. We said at one point that a creative entrepreneur was a good word. Dan talked about that last time, and yeah, I'm starting to lean more and more towards some unique phrase like that to just generalize it, because even when you're typing out something saying what your job title is, I feel like simply putting actor nowadays doesn't fully encompass everything you want to say, so at the moment, creative on just a decent fellow, you could call me. How about we just say that?
Most definitely. So I mean, Chris, I want to go back to your roots. I want to go back to your roots. So last week you said to us you'd been in London for a year. a year, right? So because it was on my birthday, that was your anniversary. So before you came to London, what got you to the point of coming to London? What was your journey before that big adventure, that move?
No, for sure. Really quickly on that, I want to apologize because last episode I had mentioned, as we were doing intros, I was trying to think, oh shoot, I hadn't really fully thought through mine. So I had gotten what I wanted to say in my head, and I put it a year back by accident because it was a year from your birthday. And I said I think I came here at the end of 2020, into 2021. But actually, I came here at the end of 2021.
You were thinking of your taxes, sir.
Into 2022.
You were thinking of your taxes.
Yes. Oh, the dang taxes, man. But so yes, I came at the very beginning of 2022. In fact, I left Kenya right on, I think, New Year's Eve, I believe, 31st. And I basically had gotten, 30th, 31st, flew, and I actually went to Boston to visit some friends before I came here. But
so you spent the new year in Boston?
Yeah, it's quite fun. I stayed with a lot of like high school friends who are still in uni, and we just sort of rented an Airbnb, and they all had time off, and they came from across the country, and we all just sort of crashed at an Airbnb in Boston. But that was the one day it like snowed. I think like it was like 2.5 feet. I think the day after we got there. So it was like, okay, well, now we're stuck inside.
Did you?
It was,
where did you go to uni then? Did you say?
So I actually didn't.
Oh, okay.
Didn't go to uni.
Oh, okay. Did you not just say that they were your uni mates?
No. So they were at uni.
Oh,
so they were at uni, and they had like time off.
Okay. So
it was sort of like a break there for Christmas break, We were all meeting up.
Yeah.
But
so back to the earlier question then, what brought you on this journey then to come to the UK? Like what was the catalyst? Was it Yeah, sorry, carry on actually. Yeah, what was the catalyst of like coming over to the UK?
Yeah. So I mean, skip all the way back. I am a British Kenyan. I'm both a Kenyan and a British national. I have a Kenyan and British passport.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Thankfully, my parents had me here. But then I went back directly to Kenya. It was basically just so I could have the British option for work.
Oh, okay.
Which is quite nice because I think having dual nationality nowadays is actually quite a unique and good thing,
You're saying that your parents just traveled here, so you were born in UK, just for all of that.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait. He's gonna be born. Let's go to UK.
That happened with my family members as well.
Basically,
I'm on the same boat as you, Chris. Yeah. All my brothers and sisters, apart from one sister, she didn't make it.
Oh wait, so if you're literally you come over to the UK, to the UK, and then you're born in the UK. Well, not you come over. Your mum comes over, and then you're born in the UK. You get a British passport just like that.
Yep.
Oh, calm. Everyone who is abroad, come and
Yeah, but let's be clear. The children are British, not the parents.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah. Bring the children. Oh, okay, right.
The thing is, though, I don't know if you have to have one of your parents. I'm not sure about this. Be an actual national of the country.
I'm guessing.
I mean, I would assume it doesn't matter because if you're born there, you have the right to a birth certificate, which means then you have the right to a passport. Right. I'm assuming because I've tried to figure this out because it's interesting. My parents did that with all three of us kids. So I have 2 other siblings, and they did that for all 3 of us. So all 3 of us have British and Kenyan.
Oh, that's cool.
The thing is, though, and I don't know if I should say this because I'm not actually 100% sure how legal multiple passports are, but technically speaking, in
It's
regards
about to go down.
Yeah, I know.
No,
We're about to drop
that's
the
not
T here.
that's not illegal, mate. It just depends on the relationship in between countries.
It depends.
I know because I
Yeah.
have 3 passports.
Yeah.
So the thing
You have
is,
3 passports?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
need
yeah.
to check. You need to check that your countries get along, and you
Yeah.
have
So
the right to have multiple passports.
Oh,
There's
for the love
countries
of
like
God.
China that only accept 1 passport, but then you have countries that they don't care if you have like 10 passports. So it all depends
Yeah,
on
yeah.
on the laws of each country.
No, it's true. And
Okay.
I think
All right,
Kenya
so you-
only allows
yeah.
2. But
Oh,
the
right.
UK, I think, allows 3. So I'm gonna leave it at that, actually, because I might actually want to pursue
into
something
trouble.
maybe
Well, let's get to
later
that.
down the line. Yeah.
Let's get to the
Zipline.
next part then, right? So you were born in the UK, went over to Kenya. So were you in Kenya for a lot, like most of your life then?
Yeah. I've been there basically as soon as my parents had me here. I went back and just grew up there until I came here.
Okay,
last year,
sick.
basically.
And I guess, this is a creative podcast about the creative world. I mean, everything is creativity to me, but your life as a creative over in Kenya, how did that were you always, what kind of child were you? Were you a bubbly, frantic child? I don't know. What got you into this creative world, into musical theatre, especially, or acting?
See, I knew you were going to ask this question, and I've been actually really trying to figure out if there was like a start date to it. I've always been quite I remember we used to have the big box TVs, right? And not many channels were on it. We didn't get too many. But I was trying to think. There was one show particular, and I don't know if any of you guys remember it. It was called Allo Allo, and it was an old Allo Allo, and it was an old TV show about the Nazis, like a little small French cafe in Nazi occupied France. That's the word, yeah. And it was a little cafe, and basically it was this comedy where nothing much is happening, right? And these officers that are there, and there's a Gestapo member, and they make it this really funny spoof comedy, and which is kind of weird now that I'm saying it out loud with the whole Nazis and Gestapo situation. But yeah, it was about this cafe owner called Rene, and he basically is just trying to get by in this occupied France. But there's this officer and this Gestapo member that come by, and there's some situation, I don't really know the whole thing with it, but the Allied French have airmen that drop behind enemy lines, right? So the paratroopers. And he gets involved with sheltering the paratrooper people from England, in his basement. So he's trying to keep them secret while also, the Nazis are upstairs. And basically, this whole story short, there would be so many funny bits of comedy that I would always try to mimic their accents, because it had French accents, British, really sort of Fairfax. What are you doing with your socks in bed? Sort of things.
And what age?
I would just copy.
Sorry to cut you off. What age were you, just so I can get an understanding of what I can
Yeah. So this was literally some of my early memories of. So I don't know. I was probably starting to mimic them. Maybe.
Is any of your family
probably
creative?
5, 6. And I would just be copying the old lady upstairs, his old grandmother. And she would just be up in the roof saying, why is nobody paying attention to me? And I would go around the house and I would just mimic all these phrases. So, I mean, to be honest, I've got into a lot of accents and mimicking. And yeah, like you said, my family is, very creative. Both my mother and father did a lot of stuff in the theater. My father has done quite a lot of theater as well, and we've actually been in a production together on the Kenya National Theatre, which was quite an interesting story as well.
Oh, whoa, that's cool.
But
Nice.
That's
that,
cool.
yeah,
So
that was one of my first major professional productions. But yeah, my whole family is very creative. My mother used to do a lot of backstage hair and makeup and costume stuff. My grandfather as well used to do a lot of theater type productions.
So it is really in the blood.
Fact, I think, yeah, it is quite a ingrained thing in my family.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, especially if both your parents are in theater, and then like you watch that on TV and it's almost like theatrical, like it's so interlinked, which then that must be the catalyst of getting you into like especially like musical theater. Like that big extravagant on the theater, like
the thing is as well though, I used to be very sorry guys, I've dominated this conversation. I know this one's about me.
This is your thing, bro. This is your podcast episode.
Oh man. See, I'm getting to this though. I feel like I'm dominating it, but I was just about to say the interesting thing is I would do all these mimicking stuff and so my father used to do accents. So I would copy his accents and then we would do accents together all the time, around the house, and it would drive my mother and sister crazy.
That must be so much fun.
I used to be actually quite introverted, and I still, to be honest, quite kind of am. So I would I never used to like being on stage. I never used to like doing a lot of talking in groups. I really actually quite had to develop that skill. Even though like when I was, when you're around people who you're comfortable with, or like really close family, maybe your friends or just people you trust, you tend to be, most of the time people tend to be more open. But when you're like meeting new people, for the most part, people tend to be a bit more reserved. For me, it was complete opposite ends of the spectrum. It was, if I was meeting new family friends or whatever, I would always be really shy. And I even started my whole sort of theater and like acting career as a techie, as a behind the scenes person who just painted sets. I saw a flyer.
You're like dipping your toes in. It's almost like you were like dipping your toes in, like to get. Exactly. Oh no, like I want to get there, but like I'll just like go behind the screen and peek in, and then
it was very much like I would watch school productions at my school. And in between scenes, when the lights would go down, there would be all these cool guys dressed in full black, like shirts and trousers. And they would run on, take pieces of set on and off. And I thought they were like the coolest ninja type individuals. And I was like, I want to be those people. So I remember like at one set at my school, there was this thing that was like backstage crew wanted. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what it is. And I joined it. And it ended up being like a painting thing. So you were just painting the sets for productions, and you're not actually in the production when it like rolls around. So it's quite like didn't want to bloody paint the set, But in that, someone who I would say is such a huge mentor for me in my life, who ran the tech side of productions, he came by once, and once we had brought the painted bits to set, he just sort of picked me out and was just like, you want to run the slideshow for this one production? And I was like, yeah, of course. So I went up to his little tech booth, and that started my whole sort of proper introduction into theater. I started doing that. Then he introduced me and was like, you want to do Spotlight? Hop on that giant, huge thing, which for me was like the size of my body. It was like, you stood it up. It was like, 5-6 feet long, sort of, it seemed. And I did that. Then he taught me how to do all the light rigging for the stage, then all the microphone rigging. And that was like, I loved that, because you were in control of the whole theater. I felt you had the sort of God seat. You controlled what the actors could and couldn't do. You had the power to turn the lights off if you wanted. but then I did that for most of my time in school, and then one time someone was like, "Oh, you should just go down on stage," and I think I thought, I'll give it a try, and I did that one production. The first one was just a school production. And I think
what was the role and the play?
I think it was Around the World in 8 plays, something like that. And I played this old. I basically played Gandalf. I was like this beggar vagabond who turned out to be a wizard, and then was just rather cheeky. I remember my lines were kind of like saucy. I don't know. There was like this. The queen.
Just you saying saucy. Saucy.
Yeah, it was quite saucy. Yeah, all my lines were like I was flirting with this queen or something. But then I say all my lines. I had like 4 lines in the whole thing.
Yeah, but even like 4 lines back then. Like I remember doing like a play or whatever it was. But even 4 lines back then. I mean, I am heavily dyslexic, but even 4 lines back then, I was like, "What the hell? What is this?"
Stressful. But I mean, did you guys have like? Because I mean, it's been interesting because I thought every school had, their drama departments from young preschool to middle school to high school. But I've chatted with people who said that they didn't really have theater programs at their sort of junior school levels. So I don't know. Did you guys have at yours? Or
I mean, secondary school, we had like performing arts, which I went into. I went into performing arts. I think you can pick in GCSEs. You can pick like what you do. So I just tried to pick anything that was just not academic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I was the same. I did so many arts and music stuff.
I did have only in primary school. I had all the sorts of arts, music, theater, arts itself, where we just I don't know, like do painting or a sculpture or what was it called when you just cut stuff from magazines and collage, makes like a collage. But because I went to a special kind of primary school, it was more like a Steiner. Steiner, was it? Waldorf school. It's more like artistic, arts oriented. But then the secondary school was economy, as you said, Dan. For me, was an option to choose in between different stuff. Well, actually, I didn't choose. My parents chose for me. Thank you very much. And I went to economy. So much fun.
Right, but we're going back to Chris because this is Chris's podcast.
Yeah.
So school plays, or school plays. So you got into that, and did that kind of spark your love for being on stage? And is it on stage especially that you kind of that is your passion, or is it now you're kind of more now that you're wanting to edge more towards being on camera and stuff? Where do you lie with that? What's your kind of go-to, I guess?
So I mainly did live theater, and I, to be honest, personally enjoy that far more. But I only got into film, I would say that was probably 2020, 2021. 2020, 2021 was when I started to do a lot more, because I only finished school, and you guys are probably going to be shocked, but I only finished school in 2020.
Yeah, guys, do you actually know how old Chris is?
Yeah. Okay, are we going to expose me now?
No.
We're going to expose me.
Oh my God.
We don't have to do, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that age on here if you don't want to, bro. We can go after, but you'll be so shocked.
I mean,
and every single person.
Actually, it'd be interesting. It'll be interesting. We should have them guess.
Oh, we should.
I also did this on set yesterday with someone.
Yeah, we should.
And they guessed something crazy. And
yeah. See, and if anyone's watching, guess Chris's age. Everyone, try and guess Chris's age. and we'll reveal it at the end of this podcast.
Yeah. I shouldn't have. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, we'll get on that. We'll get on that later.
Yes. So I basically only got into film mainly in 2020, 2021. That's when I started doing the occasional like commercial. I got occasional commercial sort of ads, really small scale stuff. And to be honest, I don't think any of it ever ended up airing because in Kenya it is just so like.
Which one was the first?
Okay.
I think I was a background extra in some radio. I just remember it was me and my father again were invited to a radio shoot because we knew the producer, and we were there. And I remember just talking to this camera guy, one of the main unit camera guys, who was one of the camera on the second camera unit for Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, yo, sick.
And I was just like, me and him were just chatting this whole time about like he was
Bobby,
telling me all the like.
Shout out, Bobby. Yeah, Bobby.
Was he on Fury Road?
No, I was just giving shout out to Bobby because I forgot to do it earlier when he didn't comment. But please carry on.
Oh, right.
Because he just did it because he just
very
commented
impressed.
on it. No, could you imagine?
I was gonna be very impressed. That would have been.
Sorry, carry on. I'm so rude.
But yeah, so I just sort of chatted with him. No, that's it. Yeah, so I just chatted with him. And then in the end, they were like, "Oh, you guys want to walk down an aisle and then go through the second to left door?" So yeah, I think my first thing on film as well was with my father, and we were just talking as if we were working at this radio studio, because it was like the filler shot in between, the actual action, and then they were just filming down this corridor, and we were walking, and we're just like, "Yes, the stock market this time of year looks very promising, and when you actually look at next week's graphics, we tend to," and then we just cut through a little door. And I don't think it ever got aired.
Oh.
And that was
what's it like over in Kenya? What's it like over in Kenya film-wise then? Well, film or theatre-wise and all of that. I actually personally don't know, so I'm interested to know.
Yeah. From my experience and like actually being there, it is quite we've got some good companies. We've got a lot of good like production companies, but they're very major. Like they're very like when I say there's a few, like there's only a certain few, and who they are, and they tend to do like dish out a certain amount of stuff, but it's kind of like only for Paramount Plus now, HBO Plus, all these ones. They churn out stuff. Netflix, they churn out stuff for their own streaming service.
Okay.
It's kind of like that for their own, but they don't like. It's not anywhere near that scale. And the government there has such weird taxes for production companies filming there, and like film licenses that you have to pay that so many productions won't even bother trying. Because say that you're doing a major film for 3-4 months, right? Shooting a major picture film for 3-4 months. Like the extra stuff, it's not established. That sort of industry doesn't exist. They would pull people off the side of the road and just be like, "Can you guys just walk here?"
Really? Is that what happened to you?
Or they wouldn't tell people. I didn't do extra work back then because for me it was most of the time I was actually like I had a line or something, because there are not many Mzungu, which Mzungu means like white person. Mzungu is sort of said quite often actually, but there's not quite a lot.
What's the word?
Mzungu.
Mzungu.
Mzungu. Mzungu. Yeah, you got to add some depth to it. There's not a lot of white live theater actors.
Oh, right.
So whenever the roles like came around, I went to auditions. It didn't do well for my ego because I tended to get, the casting for it.
So that's why you're a prick now.
The problem was as well. Yeah. That's why I'm so full of myself. You saw me on set the other day, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Why am I here? I should be upstairs.
Hold on, you didn't tell me. What was I doing? What was I doing? What was I doing? You didn't actually tell me what I was doing though. Like I thought I was just walking normally. I went to go get a glass of water. And I came back to you, nothing else. Right?
Yeah, so let's put it into context. So so to everyone listening, me and Chris have been on night shoots the last couple of nights for something. And I think it was at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And bearing in mind, the first day I got there at 3:45 and we left at like 7 a.m. And then the second night, I think it was the second night, we probably our minds were a bit crazy or whatever. And I think and you were just like walking over like this with your coffee, with your coffee at like I don't know, like 3 o'clock in the morning, like Mr. Big Bollocks.
Okay, just saying. When you're dressed in a tuxedo,
yeah,
and I think I can say that tuxedo is quite a vague thing, right? We were dressed in tuxedos, right? I've got a very nice blazer. I've got very nice trousers. I've got a nice bow tie. I'm gonna. I don't remember strutting my stuff, but if I did, you strut your stuff.
No, too right.
Yes,
You strut.
I'm not
You
gonna
strut your
apologize
stuff.
for that.
Please do not
But,
apologize. I never told you to apologize, sir. I forgot what was the what were we saying? So about Kenya, we were talking about Kenya, and we were talking about you were getting all the roles, all the dope roles, because you are what was the word? A Saka or something. Zungu.
A Saka.
A Saka.
I don't know what a Saka
I don't
is,
know what a Saka is either. Let's leave it at that. But you were a Zulu.
Yeah.
So Saka balls. No.
Right.
So yes, you're getting all the roles. So what did you want to come over to the UK? Was that because this was because before we were talking about why what made you what brought you over to the UK? Why did you want to come over? Initially. So was that a reason? Did you want to come over for more work or for more theatre opportunities? More, yeah.
So no, it was that 100%. I was going to come here directly because I'm allowed to work here. I was going to come here directly after schooling to, and I had a plan in mind. I had a whole had a theater company I was going to come and work for and everything laid out. And then COVID hit actually right at the end of my schooling. And that just, threw a spanner in the works for everyone. But for actors, it was just like complete, like, oh shit, like, what now? We can't gather. We can't be in a combined closed off space. And we can't yell and spit in each other's faces, which to be honest is the three major things you need to do live theater actor, right? Like we're singing, we're yelling, we're like passionately. Yeah, you're singing, you're
Isn't that a thing
throwing
on
out this poetry,
Isn't that a thing on Friends? Have you seen Friends? The series Friends. Doesn't Joey have a thing with this actor? And he's like spitting. Spitting. He's a really well-known actor. Announcing it. Oh, and here he is, Kelvin, everyone. Annunciating. Thank you, Kelvin. And then he was like really spitting in his face. And so that's an actual thing.
Yeah. That actor is the guy who plays Officer Gordon in the Batman trilogy, Dark Knight Rises and whatnot. He's a really famous actor. He plays in Harry Potter as well.
Yeah.
He's Sirius Black.
Yeah.
I cannot remember his name though. Yeah. But yeah, no, he does. Yeah. Can anyone remember his name?
I can't. No.
Nope.
Bobby.
Anyway. Yeah.
Bobby. Yeah.
But back to the. Basically, yeah. I sort of didn't have much to do.
Harry
Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
Gary.
Oh, that's it.
Gary.
I was gonna say, I don't think it's Gary Oldman. Okay, I would not have guessed that.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah,
Okay,
brilliant
cool.
actor,
Chris,
by the way.
carry on.
But yes, yeah. So basically, I had to sort of come up with a plan, and the plan was just make as many connections as I could, and try to do as much acting as I could, because I didn't want to do much else. I didn't want to fall into another job and be stuck there and in Kenya doing something else. And you couldn't, even, because every other job was shut down. So that's when film stuff and like commercial stuff started to come through a lot more. And that sort of stuff can be a lot more isolated. You can, camera people and like the actors can be on sets, but it can be out in the open. You're not always in a claustrophobic sort of room or a confined space, which is why I started getting into that. And then when stuff started opening up at the end of sort of 2021 is when then I got another National Theatre show as Rolf in The Sound of Music.
Oh, sick.
And yeah, that was the last production I did right at the end of that. And everyone in the cast got COVID. We got shut down about halfway through. And
God.
I then had to leave the country for Boston. Like,
well, because you gave everyone COVID.
Exactly.
You were the precipice.
I was like, I gotta get out of here. Bro, you're giving everyone evidence now. But yeah, so I basically got out of there. Yeah, no, not because of that. Not because of that. I had my ticket basically after the last show. I had like a few days, and then I was gonna leave. But then I got COVID, and then I had to wait 2 weeks, and anyway. But the whole reason was I mainly kept getting cast as a lot of villain roles. Rolf, in The Sound of Music, he's the sort of the love interest, but then he turns into a Nazi. Spoiler alert, if you don't know. And then he, isn't really the fan favorite. The first National Theatre gig I was on, me and my father were in Serafina, the musical. I don't know if you guys know that one. And
cool.
That
it's
one
cool
is
that you've
all about...
You've done quite a lot of stuff with your dad. That's really cool.
Yeah, which is quite interesting. Both my first like professional gigs, both for for film and for live theater, were both with my father, which I don't know how it happened, but it just sort of came into being. And anyway, I got cast in all these very villainous roles, and in Serafina, it's all about apartheid in South Africa. So we basically were the two token white Mzungus who were torturing and just killing people on stage. Like, we literally drowned one individual on stage. We electric shocked another one. Of course, all fake. But in a country that is primarily...
literally, so it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Did I say literally?
Let's just clarify that for the people. We do not have a torturer.
Not literally. Sorry. It was sorry, that was horrible phrasing. Artificially fake. It was all fake, all props. But yeah, in a country that's primarily black people, right? Like, that's the major portion of the population. I really struggled with trying to accept that role, and so did my father. And my father's role was way worse than mine. And we both were really struggling with it, because we were like, we don't want to be really seen as properly racist if we do this, or we don't want to be hated. But it was actually the complete opposite. It was actually taken in very well, and people were like, you did really, that was brilliant. You really did that quite well. And it made it quite wholesome. But the main move here was to try to expand the network, get a bit more into film, and try to get a bit more protagonist roles. Because I love playing villains. They're my favorite character in film and in books. And for me, I think the villains are actually the most important character in a story. But it was just to kind of try the other end of stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, do you guys feel like you get typecasted for villain stuff or hero stuff a lot? I don't know, or is it fairly evenly mixed?
Well, I didn't realize that you were well, quite a serious actor. So you're pursuing to be an actor because I do mostly extra work, but you want to be an actor.
An actor.
An actor, yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
For me, it's more of I don't really have, like, I would love to be on West End, but I would love to be just in a back theater somewhere. But for me, the main goal is, and I don't know, have you guys watched the film Bucket List?
Yeah.
Yes, I think,
yeah, Morgan Freeman and
Yeah, it's that other old dude, right? What's his?
I can't remember his name, but he's brilliant. Man, I'm horrible with remembering names this evening.
God, we need to
But
be better, I need
he's
to be
a
better at names.
brilliant actor. But yeah, in that
Bucket List.
thing, these two guys get cancer, right? And they are like, okay, we're gonna write down all the things we want to do before we die, basically, and we have to, the bucket list is you try to accomplish as many things in the list before you kick the bucket, right? For me, it's more like I have a list of roles I want to play. I have like I want to be, Javert in Les Mis. I want to be Thénardier in Les Mis. I want to be so and so in Our Town. I can't remember I would love to be the narrator in Our Town. I'd be like to be Mr. Gibbs in Our Town. I have all these roles that I would love to be able to play before, and if I accomplish that, I'd be quite happy. If I could get a good bunch of them done, I'd be quite happy.
So you want to do theater then?
But yeah, it's just, yeah, for me, I just, live theater is just so, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I when we get into yours, it'll be really interesting to see how you guys got started and if you did a difference. But for me, I just, live really theater, the energy you get from that is, and yeah, Kelvin, I know you study.
Yeah, that is
properly
it's a very interesting story.
Next week on Kelvin's story.
Tune in and you hear about me.
I mean, thinking about that. Well, talking about that, we should actually probably finish. It's coming up to 1:45. Oh my God.
Yeah. We got about 2 minutes coming.
Time goes fast when you're having so much fun talking about Chris.
Oh my goodness.
But it is coming up to 1:45, and I want to try and make these 45.
Yeah, I do feel bad. I feel like
to an hour. No. Well, Chris, this is what I'm saying. It was all about you today, and it's been really awesome to just kind of dive into you as an individual, because that's what these podcasts are about. It's about the awesome, unique individuals that are within this creative world, and just showing everyone how alike we are, really, with all our different journeys and all of that. So yeah, it was awesome to have this chat with you, Chris, and we're going to get to know you just like we're going to get to know everyone in this, all the podcast flames throughout this time of this podcast, however long that may be. But yeah, that was really cool. Next week, so like we said, like we just said a second ago, we're going to be looking at Kelvin, and we're going to be hearing Kelvin's story and how he has got to this point and about his life. So yeah, definitely. So everyone tune in next Sunday live on YouTube at 8:00. And if you can't catch us on YouTube, we are now on Spotify and Amazon. So make sure to follow us and drop a review if you do have a listen. It all really helps, and then we can grow and get more awesome creatives in the podcast. And yeah, I've not done this ending thing yet, so but cool, guys, that's it from us. It's been awesome. If anyone has any topics or any comments or any feedback or anything that they want us to touch on within the creative world, then yeah, get in contact or drop us a comment, and yeah, we'll be more than happy to look at those topics. Also, Bobby was correct. Chris, ladies and gentlemen, am I allowed to say this, Chris? I probably shouldn't have just gone straight into
Well, I was gonna say we should have asked Kelvin and the Balthazar to guess. But yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
that. I didn't
Anyway.
say it,
Oh, you did?
but I thought that.
See, this
yeah.
is what, because every single, like, even
Yeah.
me and the everyone we were speaking to, we were like, Chris, how old are you? And like, well, like, he was like, I'll guess, and we all said like 27, 29, and he was like 21. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Such an old soul, which is great, and we're happy to have you here.
Yeah, you do speak as though you're older. I wouldn't have guessed.
I bring my
21.
newspapers to set.
See, it's the specs. It's the specs and the beard. I want to see what you look like with that beard off.
Yeah.
Now, then I'll be
Yeah. No,
14.
where's this? Oh my god, it's the same as you. I mean, I already look 16. And if I like, people say to me, "Oh, would you ever like cut your hair off?" Because I've got hey everyone, I've got long hair. Oh my god! But they say if you like, what would you ever like? What if you went bald? And I said, well, if I went bald, I would look like an infant. I would look like a pubescent child just coming out of the womb. So no, thank you. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's leave it there. You've all been amazing. Thank you so much for everyone tuning in. Yeah, subscribe, follow our journey. It's going to be an awesome ride, and I can't wait to see you all there. So sweet. Thanks, guys. Peace.